Hello world, this is Matthew McNaughton, one of the lead developers of the Caribbean Open Institute, which oversees the Jamaica Open Data Initiative. One of the earliest collaborations and projects coming out of the Open Data Initiative was a collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, in which we built an open data API for them that made available farmer information, crop information, price information that the ministry collects on a regular basis, as well as building, among others, a Android application, which you're seeing right here, which allows the extension officers who operate in rural areas to have remote access to the information in the API. And so and also be able to collect information, which is kind of one of the next phases of the project, pushing information back to the API now. And so this here I'm showing you is an updated version of that. The first phase of this project completed last year, but over the last 2 months, since I've become a bit more experienced with Android development, I've kind of spent that time and did a significant refactoring of the underlying code to make it a bit more efficient. So let's just kind of jump in and see what we can do with the application right now. So let's look up farmers whose last names end with Johnson, and the application allows you to search by a number of ways, whether by name, by location using GPS, by area, so if you wanted to search by a particular parish. So right now that query just did a pull from the local database. And so how the application works is that it caches information over time. It's one of the things that we subsequently implemented, because as you can imagine, when they're out in rural areas, there's limited data access. But you still want the farmer to have the field officers to have access to information. And so as the more queries are done, the more data is stored locally, and it optimizes the user experience. So we'll just pull up Richard Johnson's record here. We can see his name, his farm ID, the size in administrative terms, and then also the number of farms that he has registered. So in this case, he has one farm. We can see it's in St. Elizabeth. And so now we've clicked and pulls up information, tells us more specifics about that farm, and then also the crops that are found on that farm. So this is information Richard Johnson currently has in the database. We can also look up information by farms. So let's look up by area, for example. And then right now the application also auto-completes based on information that's in the database. So let's go to St. James, pulling up the farms here in St. James, and so we see again number of farms in St. James, and so we see information about the farms, who owns the farm, and kind of where the farm is. And again, we get to pull up that information and we see what information. In this case, there's nothing in the database, in the API, related to this farmer. You have a number of records like that. Let's also look up some information by crops. So let's search for example, cabbage. Let's grab some cabbage. Alright, so we've pulled up cabbage. It shows us now the cabbage that's in the database. It shows us when the cabbage is expected to be reaped. So you can see the database goes back quite a ways in this case. I mean, not all of the information is up to date, and that's kind of part of why the application is needed to help with data collection. Then this show brings us to the farm that cabbage is found on, and who the farmer is, and you can also see what other stuff are on the farm. Kind of the next phase of the agriculture project right now is kind of field testing of the application. Specifically related to the technology, we're going to be doing a significant redo of the user UI, and then also a couple other stuff in terms of being able to edit information and pushing it back to the API. So that's kind of where the application is right now. We'll keep you guys posted. Thank you for watching.